showtime! Woo! 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 Styling and profiling. Woo! Woo! It's live and in color. Woo!
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I'm your host, Tommy, to the first degree, to the TOP from the 313. What is up, guys? What is up, Bills Mafia? You know, guys, I got to thinking the other day about the one, the only, Bruce Smith, and his career all-time NFL sack record, 200. It will never, ever, ever be broken, in my opinion. Even if I wasn't a die-hard Buffalo Bills fan, I would still stick with that. This has nothing to do with me being a Buffalo Bills fan. This has something to do with a record that's been standing now. I believe it's been 19 seasons. A record that stands that is still not even close to being broken. Guys, I want to run over a list real quick of the top 10, let's say, NFL sack leaders of all time. All right, I'm just going to go through it real quick with you guys so you kind of get an idea of where I'm going with this video. So, Bruce Smith at 200. You got Reggie White at 198. You got, let's see here, Deacon Jones at 173. Kevin Green at 160. Julius Peppers at 159. Jack Youngblood, 151.5. Chris Dolman, 150.5. Alan Page, 148.5. LT, the great LT, 142. And Michael Strahan, 141.5, right? That was the last player I remember playing in the NFL that retired out of this whole list, guys, by the way. The most current player, let's say, that to retire. That came somewhat close. Now, if you want to keep going down on that list, next is Jason Taylor at 139.5. Terrell Suggs at 139. So let's get into guys that are in the league still. Von Miller, 115.5. He's been in the league 10 seasons. How many more years do you think Von Miller has? And I love Von Miller, but let's be real here. His sack average has been going down per season, right? It's very tough to stay healthy. And also, not only that, but be consistent and have more than, I think, 10.5 sacks for 19 seasons to get to the 200. So let's keep going down to players that are in the league still. Chandler Jones, 107.5. He's been in the league about 10 years. Cameron Jordan, 107. Once again, another player, been in the league about 10 years. All right, we're going to keep on going down. Justin Houston, 102. Been in the league about 10 years, guys. J.J. Watt, who everybody thought was going to break it. Been in the league about 10 years. He has 102. And that is it, guys. Aaron Donald, he's been in the league 7 years. He has 98. Guys, it's not going to happen. I'm going to keep telling you guys this. It will not happen. And I don't think Bruce Smith gets enough credit for lasting as long as he did as a defensive player. Listen, guys, I get Tom Brady is like what, 45 now, has been in the league like 20-something seasons. I get it. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's craziness. But if you can last in the league over 15 seasons, let's say, or even 10 seasons as an offensive lineman or defensive lineman, then you are a very durable player and you got very lucky throughout your career. Not only that, to last that long and be good at your job still, to be the best at your job. Guys, so Bruce Smith averaged 10.5 throughout his whole career in the NFL to get to 200. That is amazing. Like, you guys have to really understand how unbelievable that is. Looking back at his stats, at his stat line, guys. So his rookie season, we drafted him first overall pick in 1985. 6.5 sacks. Okay. Next year, 15 sacks. Next year, 12. The following year, 11, 13, 19. Now, here's where he missed most of the season. 91. He had 1.5. Okay. That's it, guys. He did not miss another season pretty much. 14, 10, 10.5, 13.5, 14, 10, 7, 10. And these are in Washington, guys, while he's already old. Like in his late 30s, mind you. What's really impressive is in 2002, when he was 40 years old, 39, 40, he got 9 sacks. His last season, the age of 40, pushing 41, 5. Talk about now how awesome it would be for a Bills player to get 10 sacks for this season. Like, we're dying for that. And that's why we brung in Von Miller. We're really hoping for that. And he may get that, but the reason why we brought Von Miller is to help out the other guys as well. And you're going to see Gregory Rousseau's numbers, his sack numbers go higher, and Oliver's going to eat. So it's a little bit more to do with why we brung in Von Miller. But that's not where I'm going with this video. I'm talking Bruce Smith. And he's not talked about like the Tom Brady's of the world, right? Nobody really sits back and says, my God, 19 seasons, healthy pretty much every season is unbelievable, especially the position he played. Okay, this isn't a quarterback who's, especially quarterbacks now, by the way, who, listen, let's be real. They're not getting hit like they were back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, right? Game has changed. There's a lot of rules for the quarterbacks now. Tom Brady got probably nicked up a little bit early on in his career when the rules weren't so crazy. But now, let's be real. Quarterbacks, you can't really hit a quarterback too hard nowadays, right? There's a lot of rules to protect quarterbacks. So they're going to stay healthy longer than the quarterback did back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. They just are. They're not taking as much hits, right? The game has changed. That's why you see records being broken now, right? That's why quarterback records will probably forever be broken. It's just the way it's going to be. Now, Tom Brady may be different because who knows when he's going to retire. I think he's 45 now, I want to say. So, yeah, I mean, that's more about longevity at this point, and the fact that he's now in part of his career, I would say the second half of his career, where it was a quarterback-friendly league, where he can now average and keep averaging as long as he stays healthy, decent numbers, and just keep building on his records that are already in place. But listen, 10 years from now, will Josh Allen be breaking Tom Brady records if he stays healthy? Why not? Why not? But defense is different. Defense is way different, guys. These players now, they they can't stay healthy past 10 seasons. Look at the players, guys. J.J. Watt, right? Constantly battling injuries. Cannot stay healthy for a full season, right? Von Miller, same thing. And I love Von Miller. I knock on wood, he stays healthy throughout his time in Buffalo. But let's be real, guys. These guys have been nagging injuries, right? Because the game is tough on them. They play a position that, unfortunately, has a lot of injuries, right? You're constantly going to battle with an offensive line, right? That's why offensive line don't always stay in the league long either, right? They're constantly battling with defensive players, going back and forth, hitting each other. And the fact that Bruce Smith did it for 19 seasons and really only got hurt one season is amazing. It's amazing. And of course, people are going to say, well, Reggie White, I think Reggie White averaged 13 and a half sacks per season. He had 198. But listen, the facts are the facts, guys. He didn't last as long as Bruce Smith in the league. Bruce Smith was just that dude. And looking at the sack leader list, and you guys could do it at home, go ahead, pull it up. Nobody's close. Nobody. So give me a player, and comment below. Let me know a guy you think is going to break Bruce Smith's record. And be realistic about it. You really think Aaron Donald's going to do it? He's been in the league, 8 seasons, I said already? It ain't going to happen, guys. I'm telling you now, Aaron Donald was already talking retirement after the Super Bowl. He's already thinking about it. Players nowadays, too, just a heads up, even if they're staying healthy, they're not staying in the league very long. Like they made their money. They did what they had to do, and they're getting out of the game a little early, right? Because listen, guys, let's be real. With all the concussions now, things that are coming out with the CTE, right? Players, listen, they're 10 seasons, 12, they're done if they can last that long. I don't know the average time for an NFL player in the league, but I think it's I want to say under 7 seasons. I could be wrong. I should have looked that up for you guys, but I know it's not. It might be even smaller than that. It might be 5. So, guys, man, I just, I really, truly believe that Bruce Smith is a one-of-a-kind player, and I don't see another player coming into today's NFL and lasting 19 seasons and being that productive at that spot, right, on the defensive line. Same with offensive line, by the way. Quarterback, different. Like I said, guys, totally different. Wide receiver, different, right? Running backs, same thing. Running backs don't last long, guys. They do not last long. That's why that record Emmitt Smith holds, that Frank Gore, by the way, got 3rd. But look at Frank Gore. He's a prime example of what I'm talking about. It wasn't that he was averaging, unbelievable 1,000 yards throughout his career. It's the fact that he lasted as long as he did and stayed healthy. Like, he was a freak, and that just doesn't happen much, right? But we'll see. We'll see. I that's another position that they just take a lot of hits, and that's why I say you don't pay a running back big money, because they have a shelf life, right? Unfortunately. But for Bruce Smith, my God, guys, he was getting, what did I tell you, 9 sacks when he was 40 years old. I mean, that's unbelievable. You guys just I don't know if it's registering quite yet. It's unbelievable what Bruce Smith did in his career in the NFL. It is really unbelievable. And everybody talks about Tom Brady. And like I said, I got to thinking, why doesn't anyone talk about Bruce Smith? 19 seasons at a position that's much more grueling on your body than at quarterback. Let's be real. and a record that probably will not be broken. And like I said, guys, if you feel differently, go ahead and tell me why. But you better bring it, because trust me, I've had this argument in the past about, records that are just not going to be broken. And that's one of them. And I will debate you all day if you want to debate me on the sack record. It will stand. It will stand the probably forever. I'm going to be dead honest with you guys. So give Bruce Smith the love, guys, that he deserves. I think the NFL doesn't. I think they should honor this man for what he did in this league. And it's just funny to me, like players like Von Miller, J.J. Watt, that we're talking about, they're going to go for the sack record, and they're not even close, and they will not come close. And like I said, if you pull up and look at the last guy that even was remotely kind of close, not really, Michael Strahan and Jason Taylor at 140, I think I said, 150, 50 sacks away. It's not close. So nobody in that top 10, I'll go back to it. Nobody in that top 10. Let's see here. So this top 10, Reggie White retired in 2000. Deacon Jones, 1974. Kevin Green, 1999. Julius Peppers, 2018. Okay, so I guess he would be the most, the current player to retire. No, actually, no, it's Terrell Suggs. I apologize. Terrell Suggs at 139. But Julius Peppers had 159 and a half. Still not close. 40 and a half sacks away. He couldn't make it. He was in the league from 2002 to 2018. 16 seasons. He had to retire, guys. I mean, that's the way it works, man. These guys, it's a very tough position to stay healthy and stay as long as they do in the league, right? So I go back to it. Michael Strahan retired in 2007, 93 to 2007, 141 and a half. Jason Taylor, 139 and a half, 97 to 2011. He retired in 2011. That's it, guys. That's it. Everybody else on this list, when we're going all the way down to Von Miller, retired early, man. All these guys. None of these guys made it. None of these guys. You're talking about 80, 2000. John Randall, hell of a player, right? John Randall was the man. 1990 to 2003. Had 137 and a half. Listen, I can go on and on and on about this, guys. But I proved my point. At least I feel like I did. So I just wanted to make this video real quick to show my love to the one of the greatest NFL players of all time, man. And I'm just blessed that he was a Buffalo Bill, man. Like, honestly, guys, I love Jim Kelly. I love Andre Reed. I love Thurman Thomas. I love those guys. But let's be real here. Bruce Smith was that dude. Bruce Smith, if you're going to build like a Mount Rushmore of players who were the best at their position, I don't care what anyone says, man. Bruce Smith is, in my opinion, the greatest defensive edge in the NFL ever. Because that record will never be broken. This isn't a game record, guys, by the way. This isn't a single game record. This is a career record. A man who retired at the age of 40, 19 seasons, 200 sacks. I'm just saying. So, hey, guys, I am out of here. Bills Mafia #1. And I am out. Peace. Peace out, guys. Go Bills.
God bless America and God bless Ric Flair. Go for it. Woo! Styling and profiling. Woo! 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 I've lost it. I've lost reality. And when I lose reality, somebody else pays the price of a lifetime. Woo! Woo! Woo!